Hey everybody, thanks for checking us out today here at Petersen's Bowhunting. You know, I am excited to have an opportunity to show you the brand new flagship bow from Bowtech for 2023. This is the Carbon 1. And you know, I've never started a bow video before by actually having the bow in the box, but I think that Bowtech did such a good job with this that I wanted to kind of show you the excitement that I had when I saw this bow for the very first time. You know, as you can see, they've got the Carbon 1 logo right here on the front of the box, and as you go ahead and open it up, there's all kinds of information in here about what makes this such an interesting bow for serious bow hunters. So they're talking about their DeadLock Cam system, which makes it really easy to tune for perfect nock travel. The vibration dampening qualities of the carbon riser, which they talk about there. They talk to you about the different finish options, and when you go ahead and you actually grab this bow and take it out of the box and see it for the very first time, you're like, man, this is a good looking bow, and honestly doesn't really look like anything that Bowtech has done before. And this is an all new, first time for Bowtech, carbon layup riser. And I was talking to the folks over there, they actually had hoped to come out with the Carbon 1 this year for 2022, but they weren't quite ready, and so they decided to take a whole additional year to make sure they had everything right. And they're releasing the Carbon 1 now for 2023. I can't wait to get this set up, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to take this inside, head to the workshop, put a peep sight, a rest, a sight on this bow, get it ready to shoot so we can head outside, hit the range, and I can actually talk to you a little bit more about the features on this bow. The Carbon 1 measures 30 inches axle to axle. It's got a brace height of 6.63 inches. The IBO speed rating is 335 feet per second. The draw length range is 25.5 to 30.5 inches. It's available in peak draw weights of 50, 60, or 70 pounds, and the mass or physical weight of the bow is 4.5 pounds. Finish options on the Carbon 1 include black, which you see with our demo bow, as well as OD green, smoke gray, and flat dark earth. The suggested retail price on the Carbon 1 is $1,799. I've got the Carbon 1 all set up here. As you can see, wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the specific features of this bow before I go ahead and shoot it for you. You know, one thing, if you're familiar with the Bowtech line, they've had a kind of a different version of a carbon riser for a while now. They've got a bow called the Carbon Zion. They've had several different iterations of that over the years where they're using carbon fiber and really in an injection molding process to create a riser, and it results in a really lightweight bow. Like that Carbon Zion is 3.3 pounds. This Carbon 1 is 4.5, so it's 1.2 pounds heavier, even though it's a carbon bow. And again, this is a completely different kind of carbon riser. This is what Bowtech's calling a layup carbon riser, because there are individual carbon components within this riser that are pieced together to create the overall structure. It's really designed to give that incredible vibration dampening, and of course you get the warmth as well on a cold day as we head further into fall here. You're not going to get that cold hand that you will, because of course the carbon doesn't conduct that coldness. So some other things that you're going to see here, some things that are a little bit more familiar to Bowtech shooters. Okay, you've still kind of got that center pivot design, so you've got a truss on the back side of the riser, and the riser and limb pockets are basically interfacing with the limbs, two different places, right out here on the end and then further back. And what that does is it isolates all your flex in sort of the back half of the limb here, and it just creates a more stable platform form, you're going to get better shooting consistency from that. One more feature that I wanted to make sure to mention, you'll see I've got this ripcord rest here. There's actually a dovetail bracket right on the riser. So if you don't want to use a traditional mounting system, you can use the Integrate dovetail bracket, which will work with the QAD Integrate rests and other rests such as this ripcord, which have dovetail mounts that'll go right onto the riser. Just makes it a little cleaner and a little more secure mounting your arrow rest on the bow with that Integrate. And of course, we're seeing that with more and more bows in the marketplace today. The cam system on the Carbon One, again, not unfamiliar to Bowtech shooters, or if you followed the Bowtech line in recent years. This is the DeadLock Cam system, and it's a binary cam system or a two cam system where these cams are basically locked into timing with each other by the cables, and so that makes them very reliable. It keeps them in sync. And then the DeadLock, you'll see here down at the bottom and up here on the top, these are your DeadLock tuning devices, and really what you're going to see here is a set screw and then a tuning screw, both top and bottom. What the DeadLock system allows you to do, and it really is ingenious, is to cam tune your bow without a bow press by simply loosening your set screw and turning your tuning screw and sliding your cams left or right on the axles. And what that allows you to do is obviously you can tune out any inherent discrepancies in left to right string travel in the system itself. But honestly, manufacturing is so good with today's modern bows, you typically don't have a lot of issues right out of the box. Where the issues come in is with me, with you, as individual shooters. We all tend to grip the bow a little bit differently. Maybe we grab at it a little bit as we release the string. The DeadLock Cam system allows you to tune all of that torque out and get that perfect tear through the paper. So when you paper tune this bow right from the get-go, you can use the DeadLock, get that perfect bullet hole, and then do the rest of your calibrating from there. So it's really, really a great system. Clutch grip, that's basically mainly sort of machined right into the riser itself, and then they've got this small plastic plate that goes on the back of the riser. It's actually quite comfortable, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I shoot. Noise and vibration, okay, Bowtech is advertising this bow as extremely dead in hand, extremely quiet. Obviously the carbon riser itself helps with that, but you've got orbit dampeners in the trusses here on the back of the riser at both top and bottom. You've got an integrated string stop. You've got another rubber dampener on the base of the string stop. I've added just a K-Tech stabilizer that I had here at the house. That's going to help to further reduce vibration. And so overall, a pretty complete package, a lot of familiar Bowtech technologies that have been around for a few years, obviously with this brand new all carbon riser that is a first for the company. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this bow, and like I said, I literally just set this up. I did shoot a dozen arrows basically, just to make sure I wasn't gonna be flinging into the woods, but today is the first day that I've ever shot this bow, and so I'm gonna go ahead, take a few shots for you guys, and let you know what I think. You know, the first thing that I notice about this bow is I do like the grip. It's not too wide, and I'm not a fan of wide grips. It fits really nice in my hand. And the other thing about this bow, again, I touched on it earlier, even though it's a carbon bow, it's not super light. You know, it's not heavy, but it's right up there with all the flagship bows that you're gonna see on the market today, in that 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 pound range. And of course, once you get a sight, a rest, a stabilizer, your quiver, other accessories, you know, you might be up there at that 5 pound range. And some people might ask, well, you know, if you're going to do that, why do I need a carbon bow? Because isn't the point of carbon to be really light? But having shot some of the really light carbon bows that have been out in years past, you realize that a lighter bow isn't as stable at full draw. So I think what Bowtech's trying to do here, and I think other manufacturers as well with their carbon bows, they're actually okay with adding a little bit more weight, whether that be in the limb pockets, the cams, other accessories, because when you get below that 4-pound range, you just don't have the stability at full draw that a little bit heavier bow does. So as far as the draw cycle goes, oh, and I remembered that from before. It's very, very smooth, but it's very, very aggressive. You get to peak draw weight like right away, and you stay there until it drops into the valley. Now, as far as at full draw, there are dual cable stops on this bow, and they are rock solid. There's very, very little give at the back. Stability at full draw is good. And again, at the shot, now my microphone's right here in front of my face. You can decide for yourself what you heard. I would say, honestly, quite quiet, even relative to the other high-end bows on the market, and very, very low vibration in my hands. Okay, your draw length is adjustable with a rotating mod, so you don't need separate mods, so you can go anywhere throughout the draw length range easily just by moving a couple of screws on each cam. Again, I mentioned to you these limb stops. There's a limb stop here on the top, and there's a limb stop here on the bottom, and those are going to come around and hit the limbs when you're at full draw. Let me go ahead and take another shot. You know, I don't have a chronograph to throw it through today, but this has an IBO speed rating of 335 feet per second. So it's not an absolute screamer. Okay, you think 360 is where the industry is going to top out, but 335 is no slouch. And I would say that for a bow that, you know, is as quiet and vibration free as the carbon one, the speed is also excellent. You know, right there, again, it's competitive with the other flagship bows that you're going to see on the marketplace. I would absolutely tell you, you know, if there were things here that I did not like, but there's really nothing that stands out to me about this bow overall in terms of the shooting experience that's problematic to me, you know, in a significant way. Like I said, that draw cycle definitely gets right to peak, and at full draw, the valley, if you're going to let this bow down, it's really, really interesting because you have to let and let. It's got a wide valley before it starts to pull you through. But you can see as I draw and let down, it's certainly smooth enough. Smooth back, big, big valley. You gotta wait for it on the letdown. But I'll go ahead and just take this shot. The bow doesn't want to go anywhere. I was really thinking about how steady it was on the aim, and then when the shot broke, you know, did it want to go tilt forward? Did it want to kick out on the bottom? And I think you guys probably saw it on the video. The bow really doesn't want to go anywhere when that arrow goes off. So, I mean, I like that too, as well as the follow through. All right, so that's a first look at the Carbon 1 from Bowtech. Like I said, the company's first carbon layup riser bow. I definitely think they brought their A game to the table. I actually talked to the folks at Bowtech. They were hoping to come out with this bow for 2022. It wasn't quite ready. They put a whole extra year of development in, and I think that the results really show in a bow that's quiet at the shot, vibration free in your hand, very stable at full draw, very steady at the follow through, and honestly, pretty darn accurate for a guy who's shooting it for the very first time. Again, the draw cycle is aggressive. You're going to be at peak from very shortly in until you hit the valley, but it's got a wide valley, very comfortable to hold at full draw, and all in all, a really nice shooting rig for 2023. The Carbon one from Bowtech. If you're interested in more information, you can visit the Bowtech website at bowtecharchery.com or visit your local Bowtech dealer, and you can pick up the Carbon one, shoot it for yourself, see what you think, and maybe it's the bow for you. Thanks for checking us out at Petersen's Bowhunting. As always, we appreciate it, and I wish you the very best of luck out in the field.